Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully created one of the database as a news and also we successfully configured it, right? Great. Now friend, in this video, I want to install Laravel, one of the default authentication system. It's very easy how much easily we can create some of the authentication in Laravel. I will show you everything with the live example. And also we'll create one of the multi-user authentication. Step by step I will show you. Like first of all, I want to install one of the Laravel default authentication system. If you go to that Laravel official website, and here if you go to the packages, and with the packages you can see there is a Breeze, one of the default authentication system. You can also use it as a JDStream, but JDStream actually a lot of students ask me that is little bit complicated. So very easy part will be as a Breeze. So now I want to install that Breeze. If you go to the packages, and from here if you go to the Breeze, and here you can see everything is ready made friend. Here you don't need to do anything. When you install that package, automatically you will be able to access it. Like first of all, if you want to install it, they have some of the command line. There's the installation. Here I have already installed that composer. Right now we run this command via the composer. Okay, now first of all we have to run it. I simply copy it. My PHP artisan serve is running, and now you can see it's now successfully running. So now better I want to open with another terminal. That is our project, and I want to go our particular folder as a news, and here I want to open with another CMD, another command prompt. I simply load it, and now I want to install it. That is a composer required and Laravel Breeze, and now I want to click as a enter. Now it will be install all that file from to the internet, and now that will be created some of the extra file. It will be created some of the file in our application. Into the application, that is our HTTP, and into the HTTP area it will be created some of the file. In our database, there is a migration area, it will be created some of the file, and also in our route, into the route it will be created another new route in here. I will show you. And then also into the resources area it will be created another file. So everything will be ready-made. Here right now it's running. Okay, right now you can see it's now running and successfully install it. That means our Breeze is installed successful. And now our next procedure will be here. We have to run as a PHP artisan Breeze installation. Okay, here now I want to run it. I copy it, and after that I want to run this one as a PHP artisan Breeze install. And now if you click as a enter, it will be published everything. Okay, here it will be published all that our file. It may take little time. Okay friend, it may take little time. Better when it will be done, then I will come back again. Here you can see friend, our PHP artisan Breeze is also successfully installed. So now it's added some of the file in your project. Like let's check this out. If you now go to your project, first of all, it should be created one of the new route. If you go to that route, if you go to our web, you can see now it's created this type of one of the things. So that is by default everything as ready-made. As I told you, they are using one of the default middleware as a auth. So by this auth, it will be checked this user is authenticated or not. And when everything will be done, it will be return redirect to one of the view page. That means one of the dashboard page. Okay, and if you now go our view, into the view you can see, as I told you, it will be created some of the folder. You can see it's created some of the folder as a auth, and here you will get all the default locking page, the register page, the reset password page, the verify email page, confirm password page. Okay, and also it will be created some of the components. So that is by default all that components is in here. They have some of the layout. It's also successfully now created. And also if you now go to our database, so now there is all that our migrations table. That is by default all that our migrations table. And now in our HTTP controller, here you can see it's also created another new folder as a auth. And here that is all that our file. That means literally we have to work in particular that area. When all that default things, that means when you create one of the new user, all that our command will be in particular that area. You can see there is a registered user by the create method, that is our restore method, and from here one of the new user you can now able to create it. Okay, so before doing all that functionality, as I told you, I will create one of the multi authentication system. Here we'll create two authentication. One will be for our default user, another will be for the admin. In fundamental, I have already discussed about the default users. Now I want to create one of the multi-authentication. Then I hope you like it very much. For doing this, we have to do better if you go to our database into the migration, and that is our user. Okay, so into the user table that have the by default all that field, which I have already done in our fundamental section. So now friend, as I told you, I want to create one of the multi-authentication system. Like a step by step I will show you. For doing this, I want to create another, I want to add some of the another field. Like in our table, I want to copy it. I want to add another field. I just name it. Another field will be as a username. Okay, I name it as a username. And also I want to make this field as a nullable. Nullable means if this field is empty, it will be totally fine. Okay, so I make it as a nullable field, as another field as a username, and I make this field as a nullable. Great. And email will be needed. Email, our verified will be needed. Password, that will be same. Only I want to take another field. I copy it. I want to take another field in here. I take another field as a photo. So if you want to add some of the picture of this user, you can actually add it. For the reasons, I take another field in our database. By default, one of the database table as a user table. And into the user table, I have added another field as a photo, and I make this field as a nullable. And also I want to take another one better as a phone. Okay, I name it as a phone. So that will be as a phone. Okay, phone. I'll also make this field as a nullable. And then I want to assign another field for the role. Okay, I name it as a role. So that will be as a role. And for the role, I want to create two different roles. One will be as an admin, another will be as a user. Okay, for doing this, I want to add another field, and field here that will be two. One will be as an admin, and also another will be as a user. Okay, I simply take two of this right now. If you want to add another one, you can add it. I take one field will be as a, for the role will be as an admin, another role will be as a user. So here I want to do by default, I want to set it when an user will be registered, then automatically that will be as a user role. Okay, so for the reasons I want to use it as a default. So that will be as a default, and default our user role will be as a user. Okay, I make it as a default, that will be as a user. Great. And then I want to take another one as a status. And status also I want to do the same things in here. Okay, here that will be the same process. I want to apply. So here one will be as a active, and also another one I want to add it as a inactive. And into the status area, I want to assign as active rather than this status will be as inactive. So by default, I want to make it as a active. So that will be just like the same. Here default, I want to set it. That means when user will be registered, by default that will be as a active. Great. So literally everything will be needed. For the reasons here, I assign another role, and I added two of this as admin, and the user default will be as a user, status will be active, inactive, default that will be as active. So friend, that's all. Okay, that's all will be needed. I simply added some of the field in our user. Now if you click as a save all, and after that I want to migrate. Okay, that means when you click run as a PHP artisan migrate, it will be created. So all that our table in particular that area. So now let's do that work. For doing this, I have already saved it. Now I want to run our another command as a PHP artisan migrate. Better I copy it. Okay, I copy it, and now if you go here right now, I want to run it again. I want to have to copy it, but I copy it, and now I want to run it as a PHP artisan migrate. Now if you click as a enter, it will be created all that our default table, right? So they have some of the default table, all the table now that will be set in our database. I have already created one of the connection with our project. Now that will be created everything. Now click as a enter. Now you can see it's now getting some of the error as a worker, because that is actually I have using some of the field. Here we have to change that our field type. Like here I want to use it as enum. Okay, that will be the enum type. So that will be the enumber type, and also I make it as enumber type, and photo, and then our phone I make it as a string. Okay, I simply updated two of this in here. Right now that will be fine. Now click as a save all, and now I want to run it again. I want to run as a PHP artisan migrate. Now click as a enter. You can see right now all that our database is now successfully migrate, right? That means migration is successfully completed. Now if you go and now if you refresh it, you can see all that our database table is now successfully added in our database area. That means our news database area. Now if you go to our user table, and into the user table you can see I have added some of the field as a name, username, and then I have added the photo, and then phone, role, and status. Great. Right now if you go to our project, and now if you refresh it, now that should be two of these things. One will be as a logging, another will be as a register. Okay, right now both of this is visible, and now if you go to that our logging, now you can see our logging page is successfully loaded. So some of the time you may face some of the issues. Here when you face any issues, simply run as a npm run dev. When you run it as a npm run dev, then if your page is not loaded successfully, simply run as a npm run dev, then that will be load successfully. Okay, so right now it's perfectly working in my case. So now that is a logging is successfully able to access, and that is the logging page actually loaded from which position. Now I want to show you that is the logging page actually loaded. That is our resources, view, and that is our auth. And you can see that is default one of the page is created as a logging page. And also they have another register page. If you go back, and now if you go to that register, now you can see that is on another page as a register page. Okay, so that is all that register page, and register page actually loaded from to the view, and that is our auth, and that is our register page. Okay friend, and also they have some of the reset password. That means if you go, there is already registered, there is a login page, there is a forget password page, and everything actually ready made. In fundamental I have already discussed about that things with you. Now if you want to register one of the user, like I want to go to that our register, and that is a register. Okay, so from here I want to use one of the new one, as I make it as a user, that will be as a name, and I make it as a email as a user@gmail.com. For education purpose I want to register one of the user. Let's check this out. I want to use it up Udemy 12345 and Udemy 12345. Okay, now let's check this our register is successfully done or not. If you click as a register, yes, you can see friend, everything is ready made. Right now we are successfully logging with the another user, and here I registered it by this name as a user. Now if you go to that our database table as a user table, now if you click as a refresh, now you can see there is ID1, name as a user, username, I didn't add any username, email address is successfully installed, add, and also password, you can see it's now created one of the hash password, and that is our password is set in here. And all that field I make it as a nullable for the reasons you can see photo as a null, phone also as a null. But role, into the role area I have already assigned which things I have already assigned it in here. By default our role, that is our role, will be as a user, and also by default our status will be as active. Right, for the reasons you can see here, role, our role by default is inserted as a user, and status by default added as a active. I hope friend you get some of the idea here how to do this work. Right now everything is successfully done. Right here, that is our default, all that page. So that is all the things, as I told you, everything is loaded from to the view, and that is our authenticated all page. And when you successfully logging, and that is our component, all that page. Okay, great. Now if you click as a logout, so that will be successfully log out. And if you now logging with this user, I put that username as a user@gmail.com, password Udemy 12345. Now log in. Right now you are successfully logging. Click as a logout and successfully log out if you logging, and that is all the default route. If you want to find out all the default route in Laravel, that is also another command I show you. If you run as a PHP artisan and route and then list. Okay, if you run as a PHP artisan route list, click as a enter. Now you can see friend, when you install that Laravel actually created by default all that route. That is our logging route, that is a logout, that is our register, that is a register, that is a reset password, and that is a logging actually working behind our auth, and authenticated session controller store method actually working behind this. And for the register, you can see that is our authenticate, that is our auth folder, and register, that is our register user controller. Here that is one of the create method actually work behind this. That means if you go, and that, as I told you, that is in our HTTP controller auth, and into the auth here you can see there is registered user, and that is one of the store method. And by default, actually that is working from to this position. And here you can see there is a password. It's make it as a hash make our requested password. So for the reasons, when you registered one of the new user, when this data will be stored in our database, you can see there is a password is become changed, and now that is our hash password. I hope you get some of the idea how to install that package. That means right now we are successfully able to install that Breeze package, and every functionality actually work perfectly. So right now, friend, step by step I want to create one of the multi-authentication systems. So right now you are able to only able to log in with the user, right? Now also I want to do when you logging with our one of the admin user. So when you access with the admin, it will be returned direct to our admin dashboard. Okay, when you right now logging with our any normal user, like I logging again, and here if you click as enter, now you can see you are successfully returned direct to our dashboard. So I want to do when you press as a admin email address, admin password, then that will be returned direct to our another dashboard as a admin dashboard. Then I will set up different type of theme for our admin, and also I want to set up another theme for the user. So how to do this work? So as I told you, we just started our journey. I hope you will like it very much. So step by step, everything will be more clear to you. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.